Come and get started on a new mission, a new direction, a new intention. Welcome to 5.8G Alive at Connections 50 Plus. I am Terri-Ann Joseph Brathwaite.
And I am Jennifer Gibbons Joseph, catering to all your prospects in the third act of life.
Economic well-being, social gratification, personal fulfillment.
Join us on Wednesday at 6 p.m. on Connections 50 Plus Facebook page, YouTube channel,
and on Gael the Caribbean. Hello and good afternoon. Welcome, 5.8G Tribe. It's 5.8G Alive. I am Terri-Ann Joseph Brathwaite, one of the co-creators of Connections 50 Plus, which brings you 5.8G Alive. With me as usual.
Hi, good evening and welcome to 5.8G Alive. I am Jennifer Gibbons Joseph, the other co-creator of Connections 50 Plus.
Listen, Facebook world, YouTube world, Gael world. If you weren't there, you missed it. You missed it big time. We finished our Keeping It Real forum. And Jennifer, sometimes we know we need to do some things and we know that it's necessary. But when you do it and you realize just how powerful it is, you just have to sit back and say, wow, what did you think about the Keeping It Real forum?
Yes, it was a wow. Very revealing. Terri-Ann, again, when we promote these forums, we talk about it a lot. And, we really try our best to tell our audience, about what to expect, about the presenters, etc. And when it actually happened, you know what is interesting? How the feedback always, wow, it was so informative, it was fantastic. And they always find that more people should attend, this is something else. They told a friend and the friend said this, and always the feedback is that it was so great that they felt more people should have been there to really, learn what they have learned,
Yeah, the fee more should be there. We couldn't accommodate more because it would have lost the
essence. And that's the other thing, because we do promote more the intimate type of forums. And with this size, which was really just right, participants were able to really react, relax, and feel free to ask questions and get your questions answered and all the concerns they had. And as one of the participants said, I didn't need to ask much questions because most of the questions people were asking that she thought it was covered in terms of what she wanted to know. So it's always great when you have just that right size where people feel comfortable to ask questions and give the presenters time to really address each question. So that was great. Yeah. And I'm quite happy about it.
Yeah. And one thing that, we have to, and this is a theme that went through, we in the 5.8G cohort, we really need to keep it real, get serious about ourselves and addressing our issues, because we know, unlike perhaps our mothers, grandmothers, grandfathers, fathers, we know the issues, we know where they're coming from, and boy, do we know where they're heading. But as Dr. Rouse said, it's either we deliberately choose not to be curious or we are paralyzed by fear. We don't act. And it really is doing a disservice to us in terms of how we can enjoy life on this beautiful third act stage. And so we have to keep it real.
Terri-Ann, I also want to add that many of us feel we know, and nothing else could be new. No new information could be shared. And we go along with that whole way of thinking that we have been out there, we went through the workplace, we reached a certain status. There was a point Dr. Rouse made, are you living your label or are you living your internal self? That struck a chord on me. And that is why I said that many of us feel we know, but we don't know. We living in that stage, what we used to be, you know, and not really looking within.
Yeah. It's
You know,
amazing.
so we don't know, we actually don't know what we don't know. You know how they put it. Yeah.
And coming back to that point again, because we deliberately avoid being curious, we're not asking ourselves questions to find out. And even if the questions come up in our heads, we're sometimes so afraid we choose, I don't want to know. So let me get busy doing something else, or focus on some other person's issue, or push it away to the children, the parents, so push it away, but don't leave it to the center of us.
We tend to address other people's problems. And that is a way of not looking at our own, you know?
Yeah. But the forum forced a focus on self, and we were able to capture Dr. Rouse's and Mr. Shepherd's closing remarks and some of the feedback. So take a listen, and when we come back, we will bring together Keeping It Real. Okay.
In all that we have heard, and in listening to the timbre, you would say, of the questions asked, bottom line, and I know I've discussed this with Terri and Jen already, personal responsibility. And notice all the words that have to resonate with us in not fooling ourselves. They long. Commitment, discipline, responsibility, all of them long. And responsibility, if hyphenated, means being able to respond. So you must be of sound mind. None of us right now could foresee and envisage how we will be. While of sound mind, I see in too many of my peers getting lick up. I am gonna dress it up. I mean lick up. Men and women who I thought would have known better, or who I assumed no, it's not going down so. And therefore, personal responsibility, and I'll be very succinct with this, based on my lived experience and what I'm seeing, put your house in order. I know I'm the last of 9. I went and filled out my family indemnity plan because I don't know who will know me when I dead, if I live long enough. Because I know I'm in a family of long livers in the 90s, and so I could be 100. Who know me and know me to see about my, so I writing out everything. Knowing the will, well, I see I could get an attorney in waiting in case you know, because I am Mr. Practical. Don't dolls it up. Keep it succinct. So I'm begging, I am pleading from what I'm seeing happening on the ground. We are at a point now where, because of the cost of burial, thanks, but no thanks to COVID, people cannot bury their dead. This is not making the news, but I know bodies piling up because people cannot bury their dead. That is your last act of respect and dignity. And you could imagine now the psychological impact on that when you know in your heart what you would have liked to do, but you can't do because you didn't put your house in order. And I will tell you straight up, the family indemnity plan does not cover your siblings. It is for you, your parents, and your dependents, your children, as they will say. So forget that your brother, as Bernard said, every family have some prodigal. So in case you thinking, oh Lord, who will see about him and who will see, it's not in your plan. So get your house in order. And last but not least, because now it is an economic and a cost issue, any renovations, things that have to fix, look for things where you could get revenue from. So you have your little credit union, and the credit union begged me to say this because the older members are not borrowing, because the ethos they came out of was don't die in debt. Well, that is not the salvo now. It is better for you if you borrow a little personal loan, do some little thing, because, and if even you have some little thing, put it in your unit trust while you're thinking of what the some little thing is, because if you pass away while that loan in train, CONEC, which is the overarching insurance company for credit union, clears the loan. So that not going to your estate. These are things you have to know. And last but not least, which I only learned last month, unit trust and the credit union, you can sign a named beneficiary and get your money without having to probate the will. A good day, Bernard, thank you. You get that 50,000 or what right away, or whatever you have in your savings. You do not have to look to say, oh God, hold my head, who burying who? You get your money. At least the person that you trust as your executrix, or name the person as your nominee to go and do that. So people, mind your own business and drink your water to keep hydrated, so that you will not be parched and dehydrated and reduce your immune system and catch whatever that passing. Stay hydrated and mind your business. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rouse. Bernard?
I think I want to pick up where Dr. Rouse left off. I think it's important that all of us, it starts with you. And universal is spelled Y-O-U, not U-N-I. We need to recognize that we are the masters of our own destiny. And what you put in is what you would get out. So come out, we need to come out of that complacency mode. And as Dr. Ross said, we need to just kind of drink water and mind the business. Yeah. Get a bottle of water, sit down around the kitchen table, pull the receipts together, think about what will happen, think about how we intend to spend our latter years, what we would like to do. And we just need to plan. And planning does not only mean how we plan our vacation, planning also means how we plan the devolution of our assets, how we plan to distribute our assets upon death. Death should not be something that is scary, because death is life. Just like the only constant is change, the only constant in life is death. Correct. So we have to embrace it, but we have to deal with it. And if we truly love our family, if we truly love them, then what we need to do is to assist them to for when we are not here. So, ladies and gentlemen, I urge you to get a will. I urge you also to start seeking professional advice. When we are sick, we go to a doctor. When we need to do something legally, we should visit a lawyer. Not a bush lawyer, a qualified one. So, folks, have a good one.
Bernard, before you leave, persons have been asking if you can leave your information, your contact information, if you can put it in the chat so they can have it. Right.
Sure.
We would love just very quickly if participants could just put on their mic to just let us know quickly how they felt, how the forum was for them.
Really, really informative. Very, very informative. I'm glad I was here and I got a lot of information.
Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you to the presenters.
It was an evening well spent.
What I got was a perspective that I didn't have before. So, I mean, the legal was one thing, but Dr. Rouse's perspective
Yes.
on certain things was very refreshing and timely. And I mean, people don't often talk to you like that. I think that, you know, if you're having another one of these, please let me know, and I'm going to tell all of my friends.
I believe they were all spot on, and I'm very happy to see that my will is well prepared.
But those 3 hours went so quickly now. I'm thinking that you all needed to have Dr. Rouse with her own session and Bernard Shepherd with his own, because I still, you know, have plenty questions. It's so interesting. I learned so much, and for my temperament, I needed that push. Thank you all.
Great.
And of course, you know, your forums are always welcome. Thanks so much.
Thank you. What we have found in Connections 50+, and we have had several forums, and I mean, really very experienced presenters, is that for some reason, our cohort tend to be very timid and do not want to attend for some reason forums like this. And we believe it's because they don't want, it's a bit scary to face reality of the reality. And Bernard mentioned it, this is a whole new stage for us. We had no examples before us of how we should live this type of life we're living and the responsibilities we should take, and dealing with a whole new set, a generation that has, is different from nowadays. So what we'd like to do for those, and we always ask for those who are here, who participated, who have attended our forums and know the quality of forums that we are having, it's not just to send out a flyer or just forward our WhatsApp. It's actually to pick up that phone and let them know the difference it has made to you, and really encourage them to come out. We have, I could tell you about a list of people who told me, yes, they come in, they register. Some even registered, and in making that last minute call, they back out after saying, giving an excuse. And we know it's just an excuse. But I see it as a fear of facing the reality, because it's not easy. It's not easy. The decision we have to make with our loved ones can be very hard. But with these forums and having the professionals chat with us and giving us the information we need to make that informed decision is important. So I'm just asking you all here to continue following us on Connections 50+, continue following our 5.8G shows every Wednesday, and keep in touch, because we will continue having these forums, and we hope it will grow and grow and grow.
It's really, really, really good. You always, access children are all exciting and very, very interesting and thought-provoking.
Thank you for having the forum. Thank you. And Dr. Rouse, even though most of the questions were legal, I want to support that comment you made about the mind. I am passionate about this nonsense about putting age into your body by your mind. Your mind controls everything. And if you say you're old, aging is one thing. I always say aging is natural. Old is a choice. So thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Shepherd, for your advice. Thank you, everybody, for participating. Nice seeing you all. See you all next forum.
And Jen, that may be a session we need to have in future, where the mind and its impact on the body, your thoughts, and then how you work it with your diet and your social milieu.
Line it
all
up,
of that keeps you young at heart.
It was wonderful. And the little kick is good for all of us, because sometimes we need that little edge to do what we have to do. And I got my husband to join with me tonight.
Great.
So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
As Jennifer said, thank you very much. By your being here, you've joined our database. So as we have events, we will continue to let you know. We've hooked Bernard and Jennifer onto the Connections bandwagon as our other associates. So we will be doing more forum to make sure that we put us in the center of our lives. And yes, Catherine, I take your point. We do learn from other stories, but we have a lot that we need to do to get our act together now. And that is the intention of this. Jennifer and I are truly, truly very, very grateful for all of you for showing up and spending the time with us. And definitely you will hear more from us. Hey, Jennifer. So we have now finished our Keeping It Real series. Jennifer, you're real?
Yes, yes, yes. And what is nice for us to do now is do a recap.
Yes.
Of the different, within the series, because we started about the end of September to this date. So we can chat about that, because next month, Terri-Ann, is all about Christmas.
Yep. Yeah. All the fun of Christmas. Yes. So, Jennifer, which area?
You know what? I would chat about the financial area, because that was one of the major concerns. And in Keeping It Real series, what was shown to we had there was Robert the banker, but we also spoke about how we manage our finances, and an aspect of that was also covered not just by the banker, but also when we spoke about the having your house, how we upkeep your house, etc. So I want to just tie in that with the financial planning. And the key points I look at is, one, that for those who own your own home, that is one of your biggest assets. And you shouldn't just let it deteriorate. And what was pointed out, which is very good, is that it had some key areas that we should focus on in terms of maintaining that asset. And I like the idea that we should look at the roof, ensure that we have a solid roof, so it won't just blow, ensure that our electrical and plumbing and thing, that we don't wait until a major situation occur and then run to fix it, because that is a huge cost. So if we maintain those key areas, then you're looking at not just keeping the value of the property or increasing the value of the property, but you're actually saving. You're saving, because in a crisis, you may not be able to find that amount of money needed. So I found that, it had other aspects of it, which is like making sure you're looking at it when you're doing your painting, that you do it properly. And I learned from that, just ask the cheapest person, or ask one of the children or somebody friend to come and do a quick job for you. That don't work. And for even those who may be renting, and Terri-Ann, you had pointed that out, that you should still look at maintaining where you are. Or even if you chat with your landlord or landlady to point out certain things to ensure that where you are living is safe enough. And we spoke a bit about safety. So financially, yes, because that impact, as I said, that is your biggest asset. And then when we moved on to what we do, how we spend our money and how we invest our money was very critical also. And we learned in terms of when we look at how we save or how we invest, that we should really shop around, because we're at a different stage in life. So the way we would have saved, or the things that we would have invested in when we were younger, now we are on that stage is different. So we need to shop around, because it was pointed out that some of us may be with a certain bank since we started to work, and
Since
we
we start
retire and
school.
remain right there. And whatever they have, we just be part of it. And we're not shopping around to see, maybe there's so many other options, whether it's a credit union, whether it's unit trust, whether it's a different bank offering a different type of program. So we need to shop around to see what is the best fit for us. So that to me was very, very important. And learn the type of investments and the risk. Because again, at this stage, you don't want to take a big risk. You tend to be safe. So that was really, important. The other aspect of it though is how we look at earning extra income, because at this stage we are many of us on pension, or we want to reduce our debts, and we have to know how to handle it. So we need to look at the assets we have outside of the house, or including the house, to see whether we have to divide the house and rent part, whether we have to chat with our siblings or who living in the house to do things. So there were solutions that were shared by our guests to help us to fix our estate, and as I always say, to put our house in order. So for me, those are key aspects. Those are key aspects coming out of our guests on those two particular shows, there.
As you talk about the house and the paint, and I remember, 30-something years ago, when we were building this house, and I remember our builder taking a lot of time and effort into getting these walls prepared for paint. Getting the walls prepared for paint, and then painting in a certain way. And he explained something to me. He said, when you're going out, and I'm paraphrasing what he said you make sure you have on the right clothes. The paint is the clothes to the house, because if you don't paint the house properly, your walls will crumble. And I think when Andrew was talking about the thing with paint, is the packaging, is the external.
Yeah.
In the same way, if you don't wear good or fit for purpose clothes, if you put internal paint on an external wall, don't be surprised if 3 months afterwards you start a blue house, and in 6 months time it's white.
That's so true.
You say, why do external paint? It's too expensive, but it's critical for preserving the value of your asset.
Yeah, so we have to look at that at this stage to do some, financial planning, look at your estate, etc.
Yeah. Jennifer, the thing that struck me came out of some of the sessions we had with Jennifer Rouse and with Bernard Shepherd. And it is this thing about making decisions.
Oh, yes.
There is something about, I suppose it's taking responsibility. Making decisions is the ultimate adult thing. And I think a lot of us are tired of the burden of adulthood. And when we get to this stage, we prefer to, I don't want to make any decisions. I make enough decisions for the job, for the children, for the husband, for the wife. I don't want to make any more decisions. But we leave some really critical things undone, undecided, and it's to our detriment, and we talk about it. You don't want to talk about doing a will, but even today, let's not use the word will. Why are you giving up control of how your assets are to be used for the rest of your natural life and after that life? Why would you want to give up responsibility to direct something that you've worked really hard for
Yeah.
And you're just leaving it there to chance to probably be lost before 5 years pass after you've gone. And a lot of it is because we just don't want to make decisions.
As you say, those are hard decisions.
But what is really hard about it compared to some of the decisions we would have made before? We made decisions on school, we make decisions on life and death decisions, on where we live, how we work, how you're feeling. We've made some tough decisions, but you know, just all right. So preparing your assets is one thing, but even Jennifer, and you would know this, so many of us make a decision to suspend insurance policies when we get to this stage of life because it's seen as an expense that is unnecessary. We decide to not bother with the health insurance. When you decide to not continue with health insurance, if it's one thing we sure about the aging process means that we're going to be closer to our doctors. But when you make a decision, an economic decision, on something fundamental like that, you have to ask yourself, you know, what's driving you? And sometimes we are not, I think we are being influenced by things outside of ourselves, as we said, and not really looking at us and the next 30, 40 years that we have to live, and how is the decision that we are making today impacting on the quality of life that we will have, you know. And this decision making, Jennifer Rouse went into it because she spoke a lot about mindset and how we view age and taking responsibility. Bernard Shepard went into it in terms of managing our legacy, and a lot of us prefer to remain in the realm of opinion and I hear, and this is what was done, rather than use our collective wisdom to research and find out the facts, you know?
And because I agree, I see, and I totally agree, and it was said again in the forum, that this is a new stage we are on, a completely new stage where the examples that we have before us is based on from the old time. A lot of things that was happening then, our parents acted accordingly. But so many changes has occurred, including and I'm using behavior for want of a better word, but the behavior of the younger ones. I'm not saying it in terms of a negative. I'm saying it is in terms of that is the generation that we are dealing with. Right? So it is a new generation we're dealing with. We're dealing with a generation that is more educated, more exposed. They have all the social media, all the things that has occurred within that generation that our parents didn't have to deal with. So we now have to learn a whole new approach, how to cope and how to guide, you know, that generation. And I'm not sure how good a job we are doing of it. About.
But so Jennifer, we have to remember
this is a new stage.
We have to remember, and I think this is something we forget, that when you're in the 5.8G cohort, that generation we're talking about are adults, huh? It's not little children.
Yeah, they're adults. I'm talking, but it's still an aspect of that generation because they were brought up differently. They even in the workplace, and they're still in the workplace, it's a whole different type of expectation than what we had experienced. So what I'm saying is we know this is a whole new stage. It's a new stage for us, and it's a new stage. They don't know us on this stage.
Yeah.
All right. So a lot of our behavior, how we acting, it really influences how they react to us. Let me put it, if I can put it that way.
Yeah.
You know, so I would say we are moving with, with a bit, not a bit, with a lot of fear. We procrastinating. We don't want to
I like
take
no curiosity, Jennifer. That sounds better than fear. I don't want to
Well,
know.
yeah,
I'm not
we're
curious.
not, yeah, that might
Same
be a
thing.
nicer way to put it. It's a nicer way to put it. We're not curious, but because we're not curious, we're not taking action. You understand? And we need to find, and I really think we don't believe in terms of the decision making. We don't believe that we are on the wrong track. I think many of us believe that we're doing our best and this is the right thing to do. And whoever the experts or the professionals could say what they want, but they're not living our life, you know? So we tend to go along with blinkers on. This is my opinion. With blinkers on,
think,
not looking at the other aspects.
I think we see in the wall, or we know the light that we see, and it's a train coming. It's not the end of the tunnel. But some of us probably know and are convinced that we are right. But I think a lot of us are seeing the light, and we hearing the train horn, and we don't know how to step out the way and change course. And you're going down praying.
When you look at when you listen to the feedback from participants, many of them said they're so happy with the information received because new information to them, it helped them clarify, a lot of doubts they had in their mind, but also it set up like light a fire under them.
Get a kick. Some said they get a kick. So they knew
that they feel like it had that push that they're now going to take action. And I believe, and I'm sure those participants who have said that when they came to the forum, I'm sure they didn't figure that, anything that was going to be said that will have made a difference to them. But they recognized that they didn't know. And that information was able to push them. So I would say in terms of decision making and in terms of what's the word you use, what's the modern, what you just said, I don't want to say in terms of a crisis or fear, but you need that extra information. When you hear it, it's only like when you hear it, you realize, oh, shucks, that is the answer. But for us to get that answer, we have to be out there. We have to expose ourselves to like forums and to that, and to get curious. Sorry, that's the word I was looking at. I'm not familiar using it. Yeah. But to get curious, we become curious to me when you get the new information. Let me put it that way. That's my way of putting it.
Yeah. Some of the things about decision making at the end of the day, as I said, I have made a conscious effort that I am at a crossroads now in my life. I have a responsibility for a parent, I have a responsibility for family and children. And I made a decision that, look, I am taking up my bundle of papers and I'm going to sit in front of Mr. Shepherd and answer the question, sir, what do I need to do to take this forward? And even in the forum, he started to call some things that have to happen. And he said a word that is frightening to me, guardianship. I don't want to be anybody's guardian. I finished raising children. Why must I assume guardianship for? But it will be critical for me to manage my life in a way that allows me to do it on my terms. And I can't decide to be not curious about it or afraid in the sense of, I don't want any more responsibility. But you have to take the bull by the horns. And
And
It's
you
not
said
that
it,
I didn't
no more
know.
responsibility. That's
Yeah.
probably one of the reasons too.
You know, it's not that I didn't know I have to do these things, but I have decided not to be curious about it so that I don't find out more. And I know there is an unwillingness. I won't use the word afraid, it's just a dislike, a reluctance to take on responsibility. But if I don't, I know in 10, 15 years, when I am supposed to be having fun in my 70s, I am going to be handling stuff that I have energy to handle now. So why push it? Why kick the can down the road? You know?
But Terri-Ann, we have to be willing, and they say it, I mean, it's set up, people say it a lot, to step out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And then when you talk, and Dr. Rose talk about being curious, to me, being curious is stepping out of your comfort zone. You know, you're not sure what you're going to see, so you prefer stay with your blinkers.
I think the
You know,
blinkers closed
but-
down. The blinkers
Yeah,
so I
but-
think
But I
Blindfold.
must agree that the way out is that being curious. The way out is really seeking that knowledge and information and not hiding behind this facade, whether it is this image that you had out there that this is, everybody know you was being this person well kept and doing well financially and your family doing well and all the nice things. And you want to keep giving off that image.
Yeah.
So yeah, we need to get out of that and get information. And I would say, you know, to our audience who listening now, that they may ask the question that they don't know where to turn, they don't know what step to take, they don't know what is the first thing to ask on. And we always, I would say, you start by saying exactly what you want. And you say you have 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, how you see yourself. And that question was asked by Dr. Ross, and we ask it a lot in training. Who am I? Who am I now? At
Yeah.
age 50, at age 60, at age 70. Who am I now? Who do I want to be? Do I want to continue as I am? Or do I want to change? And when you can answer that and you put it down and you're saying, okay, I want to be X, I want to be prosperous, I want to be healthy, I want to be living in wherever you want to live, I want my children, whatever, and you put that down, then you will know what are the questions you're going to ask, what information you're going to, you know, looking for to help you live the life that you stated you want.
Yeah.
So that's where curiosity comes in
Yeah,
to me.
Jennifer, you know, you said that just now and something occurred to me. We don't ask, who am I now? So, and we don't even to consider, who am I, who do I want to be in this next phase? So then you have to really wonder, what is this? What is walking around every day representing itself as you? You're probably still pretending, you're probably still trying to pretend you are what you used to be, and you're not.
I'm telling you.
And you're not. And you probably have some image of where you are heading, but you didn't put anything in place to get there, and you're not. So that's the definition of a zombie. You know,
you didn't create a roadmap. You didn't create that map for your life. We didn't map out the years because and you know, people tell you this, huh? Why you want to do this? They will ask you, you know, why you bothering me do that? Why at this stage you fussing? You know, you want to go to a show you're going and you say, what you bothering to go to that show for? That is too much money. Or they will say, I much prefer stay home, you know, I'm happy in my house. Are you really happy in your house? But sometimes you could be, and I am happy in my house, but it could be a cop out. A lot of things that you say and do is a cop out, you know, so you wouldn't take that action.
Yeah.
And at this stage in our lives, many of us at this stage, Terri-Ann, you feel tired. You finish work, or you're at nearing the end of your work, your period. You may be retiring in 10 years time, 5. You just tired.
Yeah.
And you don't want to start to think. You don't want to be curious, because curious means you're going to learn something new. And you don't want to do that. And when we say learn, of course, we're not sending you to do a course, but you attending things, you asking questions.
Continuous learning is life. But Jennifer, there is something before we come up this decision making. There's something that we also delay doing, and it comes off of that old legacy of distrust. We know that we are where we are in life. We have our savings, we have our stuff. We know that there are things that will have to be carried on to the generations for your legacy. And we know that our financial affairs, we are the only ones who know it. And that simple setup, putting somebody on that account with you, you're waiting on what the lack of trust.
Because, Terri-Ann, that's what we know. Remember, we are going by what we know. If you check, many of us will tell you in growing up, your parents not telling you their business at all. You know, you don't know if you're, well, I mean, you're a poor family because of what happened or wrong. But you don't know if you don't know how much your father working for. You have no idea what his salary is like. You have no idea what is being spent to support you. Nothing, because these things are for the big people to talk about. And as we get older and we ask questions, and I could attest it up to now, I always laugh at it. If we ask my mom is so secretive with financial things. That's what they know, and that's what we grew up. And although we should have been a little more advanced than them in our thinking, it was safe for us to remain like that. So we didn't share information, not even with your own spouse, because I tell you, those of us who have our partners living with, you didn't want to tell them all your business. You're still holding back. We always holding back. And if you tell the children, it's because, and they're bigger, so you're not telling them because they will want some.
But the
only way we could grow at this stage and really live the life we want to live, we have to find somebody to trust.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, if that is the thinking, I don't think in 2022, I really don't want to be living by decision criteria my parents used in 1960. It means that I am really in deep trouble. So you all of us have to prepare the next generation, and we have to put in the foundations for that intergenerational transfer. And I will give a suggestion. Set up another account, joint with somebody, and put a little bit of money in it. And then put your digital banking information somewhere safe. If you fall sick, they can go and get it and transfer the money fast. So life will continue, because
Bernard, our attorney, did say in the forum that we definitely should look at making a will, but we don't necessarily have to tell our family what in the will. But what we should do is find someone we should trust.
And I'm not on a will here. I'm on the specific of, you see that bank account and the cash and the funds, because if something were to happen to you suddenly, if you were to lose mental cognitive competence, the bank season it up and you will not have money to take care of yourself because you don't have the capacity, and no one can get into that account to take care of you. And as we always say, that is not the issue. Disability, limited ability is. And we holding on to, you're not trusting the children, you're not trusting that one. You've got to put guidelines in place. You could put guidelines and guardrails around these things.
Yeah,
and
but even
that's
if it's
being
not
real.
the children, you have to find some close friends, somebody who you could really trust.
Yeah.
To take care of your business just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Or go to the unit trust, as I said, you can put the money there and put their name down as the beneficiary so that they will at least have access. But we are not making decisions, too many decisions we are avoiding. We're not researching, and it is really based on irrational fear. And when you really get down to it, have the children or the spouse, what have they done that causes you to be sure that they are so untrustworthy? Yes, there are bad ones. All right, so they should be under consideration, but nobody. That does not help.
We also don't like to admit that we could be wrong. And when we share what we have done, it could open us up to ridicule. So to avoid that, you say, okay.
But
go along and whatever happened would happen.
But Jennifer,
you know?
And I'm not thinking of chaos for the next generation. I am thinking for our own lives. If we lose competence, cognitive competence, if we are disabled, we have blocked up the ability for somebody who loves us to step in to take care of us. And it is because we're thinking about a decision granny made or mommy made back in 1950 or 60, when the world was very, very different. And part of the 5.8G tribe getting real so that our next 20, 30, 40 years can be rich and enjoyable and really happy is stop making 90-50 decisions in 2022. Don't do that.
And you know what came up also in the forum, and we spoke about during the series also, and that was loneliness, Terri-Ann. Because we reached this stage and we talk about empty nesters. Some of us, we have been living quite happily, but we reached the stage where actually I have found, I am going back a lot of funerals. And friends, Jennifer, it's because of our age. And I said, but we're not old. And she said, think back. Long time to me, you have someone retire in the office, and the next thing you hear about, and you're going to the funeral. We need to be realistic. Yes, we are living longer, but we want to live longer, but we want to be healthy. And we don't want to be lonely, because to me, loneliness could be an illness. When I say that, it could affect your health. Sorry for saying an illness, but it would affect your health. Because you may go into depression and things. Right? So it could affect your mindset. And that is one area that was addressed in terms of loneliness. And, we talk about being in a tribe. This connection is all about that community and being in a tribe. And that is so, so critical when we discuss the fallout of that. And if we don't put things in place now, that house you're holding on to all the time, you're alone in that house falling apart on you. The car you're holding on to that you don't want to release, you can't drive it, but you still have it parked up there watching you because you want people to feel you still own a car.
So you just don't want
and Dr. Ross spoke about those things. There are solutions. There are solutions to all these things. But are we facing reality? Are we being real about it? You don't have to be 80 and stop driving, you know. Some of us, I have a friend who's older than me, and she's laughing at me because if I'm going out late, I don't drive any night. And she always offering to pick me up and thing because she's great at it. She loves to drive. She's seeing very well. So it don't necessarily be a certain age. It's just that you can't make it. And it may be something with your health too. Huh? You know, it could be you have a hip problem, so you can't drive again. All other different reasons. But we have that car park up there.
Yeah.
You know?
Jennifer, you know the paradoxical thing about this loneliness or aloneness. We are going into a stage of life where, as Bernard said and Jennifer Rouse said, the likelihood of you being a surviving spouse, male or female, surviving partner, the spinsters, meaning single older woman without children, the likelihood that we will be in our 60s and 70s and 80s alone with more time, with more talent, with more energy. And it's then we're looking for friends and community. But that is completely contrary to this attitude we have of not sharing anything with anybody, hiding up everything inside. So that 1950s attitude of don't talk about your business, don't share anything, is putting you in a collision for us in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years when you want a friend.
Off, but it's real. We're talking about being real. So we reach a stage, whether at that stage we are widow or whatever reason that we live in alone. We want a partner, you know, but we don't want to get too close because you see that money and thing. You see, all what we work hard for, we don't want nobody come to take it away. This is man and woman, and by the way, right? The woman saying, not me, you know, we can be little friends, but Terri-Ann is no way they know you want them to know your business because you swear they're going to take away. The man is the same thing. You work hard. Once again, if you don't have a wife again, you say, nobody coming in here now to confuse me. So we have that mentality. And we prefer sometimes be lonely, but not us. We're not sharing. We go in a certain kind of quarter way, not halfway. We remaining right there.
But the jokey thing, Jennifer, that came out in the forum, that I find it so funny, as Bernard said, and the issue of you're single, you don't want to get another partner because you're hiding up your asset, but you pick up your little friend. And let me tell you, 5 years, it doesn't have to be cohabitation, 5 years. And this person is presented as your partner, your intimate partner. Let me tell you, after 5 years in the eyes of the law, you're married with all the rights.
Because
and you don't have
blinded,
to live together.
All the sweet talk and everything have you blinded until it's too late. So, but that's the reality. But we have to consider all these things, huh? We need to consider it.
We have to not be so untrusting and paranoid. And if you so want to protect, divide it up, share it up to whoever have to get it, and then go and have fun.
It actually keep you like paralyzed because you're not taking action at all.
Yeah.
You know?
And then the other part of the loneliness, and I think the thing that we hide from, is a lot of us have not adjusted to the change in status. You're 70 and you're still drifting back to what you were when you were 50. You're on a pension. So there is a change status. It's not reduced status. It's a change status. And I think all of that contributes to us not making new friends, not accepting new people, and the people who we want to be associated, not interested with us again because we off that stage. You know, so it's really, we really have a lot of work to do when it comes to keeping it real and enjoying the life.
As you said, the stage and your priority and what you focus on. We focus, you know, many of us have the some people like to shop, some people like to travel, you like to do certain things. It's not that you have to give it up, but you need to really have some more control of what you're doing. And I'm just chatting with my daughter who had a formal function to go to and was telling me the cost of the dress and all that. And I'm saying the advantage of my age is that I don't have to spend that kind of money on a dress to walk in any place. I kind of look in my cupboard and pull something out and wear it. And if somebody watch me and say, but you wear that already, I'm okay with it. But I'm saying, if you already have something in my cupboard that could be worn, but I'm telling you, so I would re-read because I feel at this stage, I'm okay, I can do that. But I'm being truthful here, Terri-Ann. 10 years ago, let's say that, you ain't getting me to rewear anything like that. I want a new outfit. I want the full works.
Different
Even
stage.
if you forgot what I wore last time, I'm not repeating that outfit like that.
Different stage.
So it
Different
varies.
stage.
I'm just saying, I feel at this age that I could get away with certain decisions, which reduced my, expenditure.
Different stage, different stage. No.
Yeah, so
But
we
it-
need to
it is-
understand the stage we are and prioritize. If it makes you happy to travel, yes, but then you can't travel every year. You may have to look at every 2 years or every 3 years. You vary, but we are not saying that
Go
you're
to
giving
Caribbean,
up
we can go
everything.
out to the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you need to make friends because maybe if you get a friend to go with you and you share the hotel room, etc., it can work out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There really are many, many things we have to really look at where keeping it real is concerned. And we've got to avoid looking out at the other and using what we're seeing somebody else doing as a basis for determining, well, we're not that bad. Because you can always find a worse to you scenario outside there. But that doesn't change the fact that you're not optimizing your life and you're not making the best decisions for yourself. And we've got to shake that habit. Absolutely, we have to shake that habit. Jennifer, there's one other thing that we need to talk about, and it is the whole issue of control. Whether it is wanting to control another's life as a substitute for your own life, or allowing yourself to be controlled by somebody else. And they are both apps, and I'm talking about parents. As parents, we are controlling, not releasing our children to be their own selves, still wanting them. I'm talking about adult children.
Oh, yes.
Still wanting them to be what we want to be. And some of us could be very abusive, threatening to withdraw resources and withdraw support and things like that. And then we have the children who we subject ourselves to, and we give up all of our resources for them. And some of us are living in poverty. Yes, we in a nice house and we in everything, but we have nothing. The children take everything, and nobody's looking back. And that too is not healthy for us when we keep it real.
I agree. On the forum, Bernard mentioned observation he has made, said in terms of violence against parents, etc. And without going to the extreme, but
You've seen it on the news.
Yeah, it is happening, and it is happening sometimes in ways we prefer not to face. All right, so it may not be the violence where we may be being beaten or things like that, but the allowing for love. Sometimes it's because of love. You feel your love, and you are the parents, don't care how old they are. We say we are always their mother or their father, and you give in a lot. And it was mentioned, although this covers a bit of the financial aspect, but it mentioned how we give up so much to them. We give over. We sign over, and this is on the other extreme. So on one extreme, we're not trusting and we're holding on to. And there is the other extreme where we're releasing because of fear and because we're giving up our control. You know, but there's a balance in between. So yes, we have to be very careful how much of that control we're giving up.
Jennifer, if I can give an example, how many of you have really looked forward to doing something, wanting to go somewhere, and then you can't do it because a son, a daughter, a niece, or grandchild has some frivolous activity to do, and they take your car? And you allow it to happen.
And it happens. And we know that. We have experienced that in some, persons will call and say, I can't come again, or even if it's your car. I agree with you, it's your car. They're using the car, but they're not taking that time to drop you or to see about you.
Yeah.
It's all about them.
Or
so we need to really be careful about giving up control.
Yeah. The whole is
even with our money. In some cases, that, and this came up in the forum, and it happens that we will sign security for them for some business venture or something without really thinking and making sure that they understand the repercussions, etc. But just to help, we blindly sign. And I have I know about that experience.
Jennifer,
you're signing away your only asset.
Jennifer, some of us blindly sign. A lot of us know the child worthless. The child most likely will not. And we sign praying and doing novena and setting up all kinds of things, saying, oh gosh, I hope this is the exception. When we know it will not be the exception. And you end up
and we say child, but as Terri-Ann said, we're talking about 40-year-old, 45, depending on the stage you are, all over 21. Yes. Some have grand, some have, they have all various stages. But the fact is, that's why we have to trust and we have to start to discuss and not just give in for love, because we give in because we're sorry for them. We give in because we don't want them to think so and so. We get, and that is one way of giving up control. The other thing is, yes, we have to let go. We have to decide where to let go. We spoke about letting go, whether it's a car or certain thing. We need to let go that power we feel we have over.
It's not
the
necessary you using energy controlling somebody when you could use the energy redefining your life and making
and it frustrating you when it backfires.
And it will backfire when you're nearly 80.
Always.
You have to have your resources.
And you see, if we're not doing things with good intentions, if we're doing it out of, depending on why we're doing it, but my thing is, if you're not doing it with a good mind, then in most cases it's backfire.
Yeah.
If it's for selfish reasons, if it's because if you do it, you feel you will maintain that control, or you're doing it because you feel that person will love you more, or whatever. Reasons are not the real reason.
Yeah.
Most of the times it wouldn't work out.
Anyway, Jennifer, I think I am excited because I really love what happened in this year, the way we flowed, and ending up with the Keeping It Real series. And we're going to continue doing a whole lot more of Keeping It Real and having a forum to help us become grounded in keeping it real. But we're going to end in tune, and we will talk to you soon. Jennifer, this is the last show for November. So what's coming up?
I'm a Christmas lady.
I love Christmas.
Christmas.
I don't know which one of us more Christmas. Jennifer, Jennifer decorates.
So we did, as you said, we really did great in terms of the series and preparing us for 2023, right? So we have done the groundwork, that's great. But we're moving into December, and I love the December month. Yes, we know the significance of December and Christmas, but it is a very, very a time to be happy, a time to celebrate, a time to fix up.
Oh, yes. Oh,
But
yes.
for me, everybody different. But for us, the Connections 50 Plus is a time to fix up and be happy. So
Time for me
we're
to
going to
cook.
be doing different things.
We're
We're going to be doing different things. So I thought we'll show you some Christmas hacks because we're talking about money, and Christmas is a time we tend to spend a lot of money. But seeing that we don't have all that money to spend,
No, we don't have to spend a lot of money.
we would come up with some Christmas hacks that your place will look good, your pantry looking good,
and you'll have
your
excited
stocks
meals.
looking good.
And you'll have excited meals.
Everything set up, and we're showing you how to do that on a budget. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
So
be happy.
until next week, when we'll be saying Merry Christmas.
So we see you.
I love you. Keep it real. Till next time.
All right. Bye.
50 Plus Tribe, and follow us from Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean.
Thank you for joining us on this Connections 50 Plus 5.8G Alive show.
We hope you enjoyed the lively conversation and look forward to seeing you next week.
Don't forget to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
We really love getting your feedback. Bye for now.